Right now on Fox Champaign News at 9, a shooting investigation. What we now know about a shooting that happened at an apartment complex in Champaign today. Plus,
So a resident was home at the house and her pet, and she witnessed the lightning going through the house.
A house is struck by lightning and catches fire. We'll show you the damage it caused to this house.
And the U of I softball player charged for vandalizing a menorah on campus is in the county's Second Chance program. What this means for her record. Fox Champaign News at 9 starts now. Heavy rain, lightning, and strong winds hit east central Illinois today.
Yeah, and it's not over yet. It looks like we're going to see at least another day. In fact, it may even be more intense as we get into the day tomorrow, and I'll show you why coming up. But here's the headlines. We're looking at more rain, more storms, perhaps during the overnight and throughout at least the earlier part of the day tomorrow, and then again later in the afternoon, and that will be the opportunity for seeing strong to severe storms. Look down to the south. Tornado watches, severe thunderstorm watches in effect, primarily south of the state of Illinois, but for our area, we've seen reports of small hail. Also, a lot of heavy rain, not so much as far as wind, but certainly frequent lightning was one of the issues. Now, as we get into the day tomorrow, we're going to be in this area here, which is calling for an enhanced risk of severe weather. And with that, we could be looking at some hail, strong damaging winds, locally heavy rain, and possibly the development of tornadoes. Here's the way it's looking currently on live Doppler. Not much as far as lightning showing up at the present time, but still people out there picking up some locally heavy rain, depending on your location. 57 degrees right now in Champaign. Meanwhile, in Danville, 55 degrees. Tomorrow, more showers and thunderstorms. We'll have all the details for you with the Storm Team forecast coming up. Janice, back to you.
Thank you, Doug. Now, Doug just talked about the storms that swept through central Illinois. Take a look at this home struck by lightning this afternoon. Urbana fire officials say a woman and her dog were inside the home when lightning struck. She told fire officials that she saw the lightning as it entered her home. Then she jumped up and ran for safety. The entire hallway and a room on the east side of the house caught fire. Fire crews put the flames out quickly. Urbana Fire Chief Brian Neitlinger says for now, no one can live in the home.
The house will not be occupiable. We've got the utilities shut off because we don't know the extent of the damage to the electrical system in the house.
There was no damage to the roof. That's the odd part. Investigators are trying to figure out where the lightning entered the home. Lightning struck at least 3 buildings total today while storms cut through east central Illinois.
And happening now, Champaign police are investigating a shooting that happened around 5 o'clock this evening.
Yes, this is the second shooting at Mattis North Apartments in just 5 days.
Now, this was the scene after that shooting. Shell casings were scattered in the apartment parking lot. At least one vehicle had a shell casing on it. Police were walking the perimeter of the scene, searching for evidence. Detectives went to at least one apartment while at the scene. Officials would not comment on the shooting. Meanwhile, police are still investigating a separate shooting that happened March 26th at the same apartment complex. In that shooting, a 24-year-old man was shot. His injuries were not life-threatening. If you know anything about these shootings, contact Crime Stoppers at 217-373-TIPS.
University of Illinois softball player that was charged for vandalizing a menorah on campus has now entered a new revitalization program.
The player was recently accepted to the Second Chance program here in Champaign County.
Fox Champaign's M. Nguyen joins us in the studio with more on what's new about this story tonight. M.
Doug and Janice, through the program, the softball player is given the opportunity to keep her charges from last month off of her records. The program is indeed a second chance for her to wipe her felony record clear. Number 42, U of I softball player Ruby Fernandez Rivera is stepping up to the plate to bat away her felony record. Rivera was recently accepted to the county's Second Chance felony diversion program. State's Attorney Julia Reed says this will give her an opportunity to reflect.
We have a first offender who made a very bad decision that has very serious consequences if it were to go through to the felony. And so we're giving her the opportunity to do public service work, pay restitution, and then hopefully move forward after she completes those terms.
The program will allow one-time offenders a chance to turn their felony charge into a misdemeanor. The athletic department allowed Rivera back onto the softball team March 4th after her suspension in February. They say with Rivera's addition, they are winning games and receiving accolades for the team from the public. They say, quote, the softball season is going well. Illinois is getting contributions from every player on the team. In February, Rivera was charged with a single count of criminal damage to property after she was allegedly caught on camera vandalizing a sacred structure on campus. Some students say she is receiving a golden opportunity.
She should definitely get a second chance because people make mistakes. She's a college student, so she knows it was a mistake. She's trying to get the second chance to do what she loves to do, and I think it's fair that she gets that chance.
Reed says Rivera's program also includes 25 hours of public service, no drugs or alcohol use, and a written apology to the Chabad. The program is 6 months long. Rivera will be assigned a coordinator that will track and monitor her progress. Reed says the community will gain a productive citizen rather than a felon. In the studio, I'm Emwin. Back to you.
Thank you, Em. Champaign Fire, community organizations, and the Red Cross are going door to door to save lives by installing new smoke detectors. This campaign is focused on reaching high-risk areas for fires in their neighborhoods. The area is from Mattis Avenue to McKinley Avenue and Paula Drive to Maple Street. Fire occurrences have dropped throughout the country for the last 10 years, but locally, fire incidents have increased by 12% in the past 5 years. Officials say having a working fire alarm in your apartment cuts your chance of dying during a fire in half.
So now the recommendations are that there be a smoke detector inside the bedrooms. The age of the houses in that neighborhood predate that requirement. So we know for most of the homes there won't already have detectors in every bedroom.
About 800 smoke alarms or carbon monoxide detectors are scheduled to be installed. Teams will go to these neighborhoods April 2nd to let people know about the smoke alarm installation and then return April 16th to complete the project. The funding is provided by the FEMA Fire Prevention Grant. Tonight, the Danville District 118 School Board is making a crucial decision on whether or not Cannon Elementary will reopen next fall.
Fox Champaign's Angelica Sanchez was at that meeting. She joins us live with the latest on this decision. Angelica.
Doug and Janice, tonight the board has voted to close down Cannon Elementary. The future of that facility right now remains unclear, but we do know that Cannon will not be reopening anytime soon. Now, it was a heavy flood that actually damaged the facility back during the school's winter break. Cannon is the oldest school in the district. Repairing the flood damaged Cannon for Cannon Elementary School would cost more than $8 million, and that's just money that the district says is not worth investing at this time. Now, of course, this was an emotional decision for many. Faculty and staff came out tonight to show their support for Cannon, many expressing their concerns that they won't be working with their colleagues in the next school year.
And it's home, and this is my family, and I'm retiring in 2 years, and it makes me very sad that they're not going to be with me for the last 2 years as I go out. But we kind of knew it was coming. Just hearing it tonight was kind of really hard.
Now, in January, Cannon faculty and students were moved to Mark Denman Elementary to accommodate their learning needs. Now, coming up in about 20 minutes, we will have a full breakdown of this reorganizational plan that the district has for their students, as well as what some parents have to say on this decision. For now, reporting live in Danville, I'm Angelica Sanchez. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Angelica. Monticello school officials are back at the drawing board after their referendum was voted down. Tonight, the school board is talking about what their next step is going to be. Earlier this month, they asked voters to pass a $40.9 million referendum to build a new school facility. It's now being voted down twice. The Monticello superintendent says tonight at the school board meeting, they will recap the outcome of the primary election, but he adds that just because the referendum didn't pass doesn't mean the need for repairs isn't there.
We'll pull those plans back out and try to come up with another idea that we think that would be appropriate for the district. I think the biggest challenge, of course, will be comparing any plan we come up with against the plan we did have on the ballot 2 times.
He says they will continue to work on a long-term facility plan.
Coming up, the state budget impasse is forcing another facility to close its doors. due to a lack of funding. Who's now being impacted?
Plus, the back pay battle continues for some union members, but time is limited. What AFSCME is now asking for and how that affects its members. Maggie Pateau will have a look at that and other headlines from across Illinois.
And global security, the concerns some have after the terrorist attacks in Brussels. You're watching Fox Champaign News at 9. Well, today was very eventful when it comes to weather. I mean, it was just like one little mini storm after another, after another.
We didn't see any watches here. I think Logan County was under a warning for a short period of time for something. But for us, things were pretty quiet, at least as far as watches or warnings are concerned. Tomorrow we might not be quite as fortunate, but boy, did we see the lightning today across the area. Of course, we just had the story about the woman's house hit by lightning, but there were several other lightning strikes that were pretty profound across the area. I took this one in Rantoul today, right in the parking lot there at Taylor Studios, looking out over the north side of Rantoul, and that was a pretty good lightning strike. I missed a few others. In fact, one popped fairly close there on the east side of Rantoul. It caused the hair to stand up on my arm. 60 degrees, that was the high today. 57 is the average. So we were actually above average as far as temperatures are concerned, and we'll be that way again tomorrow as well. 1.01 so far in our rain gauge. This is an unofficial total. That brings our monthly total now to 3 1/100ths of an inch. And that's above average. We haven't seen any snow this month, knock on wood. But a lot of lightning out there today as we put this into motion. Most of that lightning has pretty much disappeared as we look out across mid-Illinois here this evening. But as we get into the day tomorrow, things will become active once again, and we'll show you why coming up. We had a number of storm reports. Most of these were because of heavy rain here in Shelbyville and Shelby County, picking up 1.2 inches fairly quickly, and lightning in Broadwell there in Logan County also struck a home there and caused a fire. So there's been numerous reports. Now, as far as strong to severe weather, earlier today it was all out to our west, but as we get into the day tomorrow, we're going to be in this area right here, which is an enhanced risk of strong to severe storms as we get into the day tomorrow. Winds currently out of the southeast at around 14 miles an hour. These winds will be on the increase tomorrow as well. We're expecting wind gusts anywhere from 40 to 45 miles an hour ahead of that system as it eventually starts to plow through the area. Our current temperature showing 57 degrees at Willard. It's still 60 in Springfield, 64 in St. Louis, 58 degrees in Chicago, 56 degrees in Indianapolis. Satellite radar showing the development and movement of these clusters of rain showers. Look at this, southern Illinois. It's just being blanketed by heavy rain there and thunderstorms. All of the watches or warnings are well to the south at the current time, but some of those could be creeping up into our area at some point during the day tomorrow. Here's that cold front, everything occurring pretty much ahead of that, but we're going to see another bout here. Another little disturbance here could bring us some showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow afternoon, and those could be strong to severe as they move across the area. So here's the forecast for tonight. 57 degrees with clouds and breezy conditions. We'll see showers and thunderstorms still a possibility. Winds will be gusting up to around 35 miles an hour. Then for the day tomorrow, 69 degrees, breezy and warmer. Look at this, up to 45 mile an hour wind gusts. Showers and thunderstorms early. We'll get a bit of a break during the midday, and then they'll start to pick up again through the evening, and that's the situation that we're going to be watching, because that'll be our best chance of seeing strong to severe storms across east central Illinois. The major threat from this being locally heavy rain, frequent lightning, perhaps some large hail, strong damaging winds, and the possibility of even seeing a few tornadoes. Here's a look at the next 3 days. Things getting better for the weekend. It'll be windy and a lot cooler.
Governor Bruce Rauner is frustrated at the lack of progress in budget negotiations with Democrats. He says His efforts to set up a one-on-one meeting with Speaker Michael Madigan have gone nowhere. The governor accused Democrats of playing games by purposely stalling on talks so they can argue for a huge tax hike. But a spokesperson for Madigan says that Rauner's responsible for the gridlock for vetoing the budget lawmakers passed last year. The battle over back pay for AFSCME members seemed like it was over last week when the Illinois Supreme Court ruled against them. But the union isn't backing down. Fox State House reporter Jordan Abadea explains their next move.
AFSCME says its members are owed money for work they did for the state of Illinois. And now the union is asking the Supreme Court to hear the case again. AFSCME has 21 days from the decision to file the petition for rehearing. There's a narrow scope that allows it if arguments were overlooked or the law was misapplied. The ruling could impact pay for state workers right now because the court ruled the raises were subject to appropriation. Right now, state workers are getting paid without any appropriation authority because of the budget impasse. A bill has been filed to appropriate the money for the state workers so they can finally get their back pay. It would impact about 2,400 employees that are each owed about $2,500. Back to you.
The Thompson Center in Chicago is a hub for state workers, but the governor wants to sell the building. Now, a new report found that it's in need of some emergency repairs. It's estimated that the Thompson Center needs more than $400,000 in repairs for the air conditioning system. The report says that the cooling system can no longer be maintained. If additional cooling pumps fail, the building would have to be shut down, and it could damage IT systems. Today, the governor said that he still wants to sell the building and blame the stall on Democrats.
We put in a bill to get the building sold. The supermajority won't call the bill. No reason. It's common sense. It's the right thing to do. They know it's the right thing to do. They won't call the bill. They're trying to force a huge tax hike on the people of Illinois. That's wrong.
If the building sells, the governor did say he would like to relocate some of the employees in Chicago here to Springfield, but added the state could rent out office space in Chicago and still save money. Chicago teachers are taking action. Today, the Chicago Teacher Union released plans for a walkout on Friday. CTU says that union members will continue to picket at every school on every Friday until there's more attention to school funding and contract negotiations are met. 27,000 union members have worked without a new contract since June. Chicago is the nation's third largest school district with around 400,000 students.
Thank you, Maggie. Coming up next, the state budget impasse is forcing another facility to close its doors due to a lack of funding. Who's now being impacted? Plus, global security concerns, how some are proposing what they're proposing to prevent terrorist attacks like the one that happened in Brussels. You're watching Fox Champaign News at 9. And also, folks, stay tuned. Here's your Pump Patrol.
You are watching Fox Champaign News at 9 with Janice Harris, weather with Doug Quick, and sports with Louis Del Rio. This is Fox Champaign News at 9.
A French destroyer has discovered and seized a large stash of weapons.
This happened in the northern Indian Ocean on Wednesday.
Officials say the offenders were seen on surveillance video. That's when they searched the vessel where weapons were discovered. The haul included several hundred AK-47 assault rifles, among other weapons. The French destroyer was operating as a part of the Combined Maritime Forces Combined Task Force 150 conducting maritime security and counterterrorism operations. Now, with more news, Jonathan Elias has more from the Terrorism Alert Desk.
In Brussels, an official with the investigation says they found a laptop right near the hideout of one of the suspects, and in it were images of the Prime Minister's residence and his office. The official says the computer was packed with other information as well. The Prime Minister's office now has extra security since the attack. And 2 Mormon missionaries who were badly injured in last week's attacks in Brussels are now back home. Mason Wells and Joseph Empey are back in Utah where they're receiving medical care. They have both been released from their missionary duties. 2 other American missionaries are still in Brussels. And a Mississippi couple now has pleaded guilty to supporting ISIS. The two are trying to use their honeymoon as a cover story. They were planning to fly to Amsterdam and then on to Turkey, but they were arrested before ever leaving the United States. These two are among 80 people across the U.S. who have now been charged in connection with supporting ISIS.
Well, it's been a little more than a week since the terror attacks in Brussels.
Now there are concerns that more could have been done to prevent those attacks.
Our national correspondent Christine Fazal takes a look at what some are calling a failure of intelligence in Europe and whether the U.S. may soon play a larger role.
When Paris terror attack suspect Salah Abdeslam was arrested earlier this month in Brussels, a trove of new intelligence was collected. But 4 days later, a new round of terror attacks at the airport and metro station there. New evidence shows the men suspected in those attacks were known to authorities, and Belgian officials ignored prior warnings about them.
They have obviously significant problems in intelligence sharing in Europe.
I think the Europeans have an incredibly pathological structural problem.
Former CIA and NSA Director General Michael Hayden says European rules about privacy often come at the expense of security.
Does this mean it's time for the U.S. to have a larger global role, and would Europe be okay with that?
But this is a conversation among people who fundamentally share our values and who share our interests, and with whom we should be able to have these conversations.
According to the Soufan Group, 470 foreign fighters in Syria and Iraq are from Belgium. 760 from the UK, and 1,700 from France. From those three countries alone, more than 700 are believed to have returned to their native countries. Foreign policy expert Mark Thiessen predicts ideas about the way to best track some of those citizens may already be changing.
For years, they've been complaining about America's excesses of our intelligence operations, the excesses of the interrogation program. I bet you anything, people of Belgium today would not have a problem with the terrorists who have been captured being put into a CIA-type interrogation program.
Whether or not that happens remains to be seen, but there are already signs of change. The FBI has now sent a team to Brussels to assist with the investigation and facilitate intelligence sharing between the U.S. and Belgian authorities. In Washington, I'm Christine Frazau reporting.
Happening now in national news, President Obama hosted his last annual Easter prayer breakfast at the White House Wednesday morning.
He was joined by Vice President Joe Biden and Christian leaders from around the U.S. The president said the recent terror attacks can stir up fear and division.
They can tempt us to cast out the stranger, strike out against those who don't look like us, or pray exactly as we do. And they can lead us to turn our backs on those who are most in need of help and refuge. That's the intent of the terrorists.
President Obama said the meaning of Easter is that you don't have to be afraid.
Happening now in political news, with Wisconsin voters headed to the polls in the state's primary next week, GOP contenders are making a big push in the Badger State.
Here's how the delegate count currently stands. Donald Trump has 739, Ted Cruz 460, Marco Rubio 173, and John Kasich has 145. A candidate needs more than 1,200 to clinch the nomination.
And on the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is leading Bernie Sanders. The Clinton currently has more than 1,700 delegates, and Bernie Sanders has just over 1,000. Now, in order to win the Democratic nomination, a candidate needs 2,300 delegates. Again, voters in Wisconsin head to the polls on April 5th.
Coming up, the state budget impasse is forcing another facility to close its doors due to a lack of funding. Who's being impacted now? We'll tell you. And history made today with one of our local athletes. Louis Del Rio has the details coming up later in sports. You're watching Fox Champaign News at 9. The state budget impasse has been affecting local schools and businesses for months.
Now, a Champaign healthcare company is closing due to the lack of state funding.
Fox Champaign's M. Nguyen is in the studio with more. M.
Doug and Janice, the Champaign dental care practice on Market Street is closing. They say right now the lack of reimbursements from the state will have to end all operations. The last day for appointments is April 15th, and even now they are only accepting selective appointments to finalize some lab cases before they close. They say there are dental care budget problems across Illinois. Some residents say the state budget problem is unfair for the closing businesses and unfair for the community.
Honestly, I think it's an inconvenience to all of the people that's been loyal to the dentist company and been there for a minute, for them to have to be uprooted and find a new dentist in town. I mean, yes, there's more dentists here, but some people aren't capable of getting around that easy.
The nearest practice is in Paxton, which the Champaign Dental Care recommends all patients to resort to for their dental needs. But they warn patients the Paxton location is actually closing less than a month after they are. Champaign Dental Care advises all patients to consult their dental insurance for more help, and they apologize for the inconvenience. Live in the studio, I'm Emwin. Back to you.
Thank you, Em. Now we're heading back to Fox Champaign's Angelica Sanchez, who's reporting live tonight from the Danville 118 School Board meeting.
Now tonight, the decision has been made to close Cannon Elementary until further notice. Angelica, tell us, what does this mean for the students?
Well, Doug and Janice, this means that the district will be moving forward with a new reorganization plan. This means all 5th grade students in the district will be relocated to Southview Middle School, and all elementary schools will be kindergarten through 4th grade only. Northeast Magnet School will expand to service 6th grade students, and shift will lead to the creation of a 5th and 6th grade level center at Southview Elementary, and a 7th and 8th grade middle school center at North Ridge. Take a listen at what concerned parents had to say about this decision.
We already have trouble in our schools, and then putting them all together, it kind of scares me that they're not going to be able to handle all these 7th and 8th graders, and I think it's going to cause some problems, and I don't know how they're going to be able to handle it.
Now, district officials say this reorganization plan will allow the district to get the space they need and accommodate the students in kindergarten through 4th grade. This also means Cannon students will be able to relocate without a massive redistricting plan or overcrowding in the classroom. Now, district officials say that the details of this plan have yet to be worked out, but they want the community to be involved in this process moving forward. For now, reporting live in Danville, I'm Angelica Sanchez. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Angelica. Happening now, farmland prices in the state are going down. That's according to a new report from the Illinois Society of Professional Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. They say the value of agriculture acreage across Illinois dropped between 8 and 9% in 2015. The group's co-chairman says the recent decline represents a natural self-correction of the market after nearly 2 decades of increasing farmland values. They add that the value of farmland in 2016 will depend on commodity prices.
Faculty leaders at the University of Illinois are expected to consider a resolution calling on the school to divest itself of any coal-related industries. The Academic Senate will meet on Monday. The resolution is part of a drive started in 2011 to push the university to stop investing in coal-related companies. According to local reports, the U of I does not have any direct investment in coal, but it does have $5.1 million invested in coal mining and utility stocks. University officials have said in the past they are not ready to change the school's investment policy.
The president of the Danville United Way is stepping down. A job posting is available on Vermilion Advantage website.
According to the job description, the president is in charge of assuring that the United Way of Danville, the United Way of the Danville area, is a recognized leader and is a premier model for social change through its funding allocations and programs. Reports say President Jean Mulvaney has informed the board she will be retiring in September. If you are interested in applying, you have until May 2nd. Right now, the Urbana Park District is accepting applications to fill spots on their Citizen Advisory Committee. The term is for 1 year. They're looking for residents to represent their neighborhood and neighborhood parks. The Advisory Committee meets at 7 p.m. on the first Thursday of every month. If you're interested in applying, Applications can be found on the city's website. The deadline to apply is April 30th.
Grammy Award-winning singer Mavis Staples is performing at the Virginia Theater this Friday. Mavis Staples has been performing since the 1950s in the Delta gospel genre through the civil rights era with protest songs too. Now, two of her most famous songs are Respect Yourself and I'll Take You There. Chelsea Norton with Champaign Parks says this is a once-in-a-lifetime performance to see.
That has hits from the 60s through today. She's remained relevant. She has new album out. It's going to be a really epic performance and something you don't want to miss.
Also this weekend, Saturday, you can meet the local mayors for the annual Walk with the Mayors, 3-mile walk. It will go from Douglas to King Park and back. Lowell Pressing and Deborah Finan will attend. The walk will begin at 9 a.m. And for more information about events happening in Champaign, all you have to do is go to thevirginia.org or champaigneparks.com.
And as we mentioned earlier, we could see some strong to severe storms tomorrow. Coming up, I'll let you know what to expect with the East Central Illinois Storm Team forecast. It's coming up here on Fox Champaign News at 9. Welcome back to Fox Champaign News at 9. Thanks for tuning in this evening. We got the Big Daddy Dandelion here behind me as we check out the pollen count for the day tomorrow. Tree pollen is still fairly high. It's in the medium category. So if you are experiencing any kind of allergy symptoms, it's probably because of tree pollen. We haven't even gotten into weed and grass season. That's on the way. And this is on the way as well. We're going to be looking at some rain and storms as we get into the day tomorrow. There's a possibility of even seeing some severe weather later in the afternoon. It's going to be windy tomorrow. Those wind gusts will be up to around 35 miles an hour. And then on Friday, we're going to be back into at least partly sunny skies and still looking at a chance of seeing some showers. Now, here's the major threat tomorrow, and we're right on the northern edge of this. This is the enhanced risk of seeing strong to severe storms as we get into the day tomorrow. Now, the big threat is going to be with high winds, locally heavy rain, perhaps some large hail, but there's also a possibility of seeing the development of some tornadoes as well. Be alert to the changing weather situation as you go about your things that you have to do tomorrow, and keep an eye to the sky most certainly, and keep those NOAA weather radios handy and tune in to stations like this one to find out what's going on. Catching the bus tomorrow, take along the rain gear. Showers and thunderstorms early and then again later in the afternoon. This is what occurred earlier today as we saw this nice outbreak of thunderstorms with frequent lightning through the course of the day today, and some locally heavy rain, and even had some reports of some large hail out across central Illinois. The heaviest rain, though, is presently across southern Illinois. Now, as we get into the day tomorrow, we do expect to see at least a little bit of a break once we get into the midday, and then we're going to see another band of some showers and storms perhaps move across the area through the afternoon. That will be our chance of seeing strong to severe storms here in east central Illinois and west central Indiana. Cooler air will begin to filter in behind that system, and we're going to be looking at a cool day on Friday and a cool weekend as well, because this little clipper system will be moving across the Great Lakes and even bringing cooler air to the region as we do get into the weekend. So don't expect a warm weekend at all. We were hoping to see temperatures in the mid-50s over the weekend. We might see low to mid-50s, but it's going to be very windy this weekend, not at all comfortable. Here's a future cast putting this into motion, seeing a little bit of a break tomorrow for a good part of the day. And then this line of rain and thunderstorms are expected to cross through the area around 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And that will be our chance of seeing that the potential outbreak of some strong to severe weather across much of the area. So let's check out that forecast for tonight. Down to 57 degrees, showers and storms still possible, especially the possibility of some locally heavy rain from time to time. 69 degrees will be the high tomorrow, breezy, warmer, winds gusting up to around 45 miles an hour with showers and thunderstorms. Here's a look at the next 7 days, including a cool weekend, also a windy one as well. Next chance of rain next Wednesday.
First on Fox, money, music, and family. They all came back tonight on the mid-season premiere of Fox's hit show Empire. Jeff Abel tells us what the Lyon family must do to reclaim their empire.
Get out of my office.
You're gonna have to drag me out of here.
Empire returns.
First things first, we have to get our company back. So we have to start there, and we have to be very strategic about it.
We've been so broken that we've allowed outsiders to come in and take down the empire.
But Empire the company is really about Empire the family.
The first part of the second season was all about the family sort of breaking up, you know, and they needed in order to come back this part of the season and fix it.
But fixing the family is complicated. In the fall finale, Hakeem voted his father out as CEO of Empire, pushing Lucius to the brink. Andy's pregnant wife Rhonda is pushed down a flight of stairs, and Cookie is betrayed by her current lover. But only together can the family reclaim the Empire.
At this point, it's about joining back together to take back what's rightfully ours.
I'm Jeff Abel reporting.
And you can live it up just like the Lyon family. Fox Illinois wants to send you and a guest to LA to attend an exclusive Empire event featuring cast members. One winner will be selected at random to win a trip for two to LA. You'll get airfare, an exclusive hotel, and tickets to that big Empire event. Now here's how you can enter. Just go to foxillinois.com and click on Contests under Features. You can also read the complete contest rules right on our website. And new tonight, the Greater Decatur Black Chamber of Commerce officially has a new president. Tamara Fuller's installation as president was held tonight. She addressed members, sharing her vision for the organization and what she has to offer the Decatur community. One of her main focuses is strengthening the community. She says a strong community is better able to support growth in small businesses and believes she can use her leadership skills to make that happen.
To solidify small businesses here in Decatur, make them stronger, help them with marketing, visibility, and I like to increase the reach throughout the state of Illinois, bringing more revenue here in Decatur.
Fuller is also launching a gardening initiative to bring the community together, as well as provide fresh produce to homeless shelters in the area.
Thank you, John. Football is still 6 months away, but no worries, Illini fans. Spring practice begins this Friday. Louis Del Rio has everything you need to know coming up next in sports. You're watching Fox Champaign News at 9.
The McDonald's All-American Games are being played today at the United Center right up 57 in Chicago. Pretty convenient spot for Tori McCoy to make history. The St. Thomas More Senior became the first girl ever from the area to play in the prestigious game that showcases the best players in the nation. So we get to the game and you see McCoy at the top of the screen right there. She started in the game for the East. She's headed to Ohio State next year, and early on, check out the length and the defense. Gets the steal and at least a layup for her team. Then here, her team up 3, McCoy with the easy layup, and then now check out her go coast to coast. She's 6'4", and she's running the floor, showing her dribbling skills and her vision. What a pass. She showed a bit of everything tonight. Unfortunately, her team lost. The West defeats the East 97-88. She finished with 6 points and 5 rebounds in just 15 minutes of play. So a nice finish to an amazing high school career. Now, it feels like yesterday the world was ending for Orange and Blue Nation. Bill Cubit was fired out of nowhere and spring practice was canceled, but how quickly everything has changed. Lovie Smith is now the head coach, and spring practice is back on, and it all starts Friday night at 5:30. It'll be the first of 15 practices this spring, starting Friday and ending April 26th. It's not ideal right now, but most teams in the nation have been practicing all month, while the Illini will just be getting started, and they'll have to cram practices in for the next month. The spring will be highlighted by the open scrimmage on April 16th, where fans will get their only chance to see Lovie and his team before the season opener in September. Today, the school announced the game will be free. Grange Grove will be open for tailgating and entertainment, and fans get autographs from Lovie and the players after the game, so should be a great time. Okay, in 2 days, it will be exactly 3 months from the new year, and I know there are a lot of people, just like I do, sitting on their couch right now, eating a whole row of double stuffed Oreos, and it has to be double stuffed, and completely abandoning their exercise resolution. If you're one of those people and need some motivation, check out this lady. Meet 78-year-old Shirley Webb. She can deadlift more than all of us. Here's a video of Webb deadlifting 225 pounds. I'll say that again, a 78-year-old woman deadlifting 225 pounds. The East Alton, Illinois resident began weightlifting just 2 years ago when her niece dragged her to the gym. Now she's a powerlifting champion. She set the record for her age group back in November, deadlifting 237 pounds. And this June, she'll compete again where she'll attempt to set another record, deadlifting 260 pounds. Just an awesome story. So thank you, Shirley. Because of you, right after the newscast, I'm headed straight to the gym. All right, coming up next, Doug Quick will have a final check of your 7-day forecast. Stay with us. You're watching Fox Champaign News at 9.
So, Doug, tomorrow more storms possibly.
Yeah, possibility of some strong to severe storms through the afternoon tomorrow. Wow. So stay tuned. We'll be here to keep you updated.
All right, folks, but first, Fox Champaign's M. Wen has a recap of tonight's top stories. M.
An Urbana home was struck by lightning earlier this afternoon. Urbana fire officials say a woman and her dog were inside the home when lightning hit. She told fire officials that she saw the lightning as it entered her home. Then she jumped up and ran for safety. The entire hallway and a room on the east side of the house caught fire. Fire crews put the fire out very quickly. Plus, happening now, Champaign police are investigating a shooting that happened around 5 p.m. this evening. This is the second shooting at Mattis North Apartments in just 5 days. This was the scene after the shooting. Police were walking the perimeter of the scene searching for evidence. If you know anything about these shootings, contact Crime Stoppers at 217-373-TIPS. And the U of I softball player that was suspended after allegedly vandalizing a menorah on campus is now in a new revitalization program. The Second Chance program will give Ruby Fernandez Rivera the opportunity to drop her felony charge to a misdemeanor. Rivera was also accepted back onto the team recently after being suspended last month. Now over to Doug with your latest check on weather.
Yeah, we want to tell you about a special that is coming up on our sister station on News Channel 20. This is coming up on Thursday evening, April 7th at 6:30. It's the Storm Team Special, Keeping You Safe in the Storm. All of us as part of the Storm Team in the Springfield, from the Springfield group to me here, and we're going to be telling you about what to do to keep your family safe in the event of severe weather. And I will be recapping the tornadoes in Washington, Illinois, and Gifford, Illinois, and others will be recapping the Springfield tornado about 10 years ago that just did devastating things over in the capital city. So be sure and watch that. That's on Thursday, April 7th at 6:30 on our sister station, News Channel 20. And here in our area, you'll get that on 15. Here's tomorrow's forecast, looking at showers and thunderstorms throughout much of the day tomorrow. And as I mentioned, by the afternoon, we could be looking at some strong to severe storms across the region. Still seeing some light to moderate rainfall across much of east central Illinois, especially out to the southeast. That is moving northward. So we're going to continue to see rain showers during the overnight and throughout the day tomorrow, maybe even Friday as well. Windy and cool this weekend, sunshine, but highs will only be in the 50s. Wow.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Doug. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.